Hey everyone, welcome to Cycling with Ryan. Today's ride features Creekside Trail, which runs from Dayton to Xenia. I started at Dayton's beautiful Eastwood Park, which has multiple hiking trails, a lake, and is the junction for the Creekside Trail I was riding and the Mad River Trail, which I intend to ride very soon. The trail begins at the junction I mentioned and uses the parking lot and entrance drive, going under this slightly sketchy looking underpass before getting you onto the proper trail at Springfield Street. This portion of the trail is a mix of both wooded seclusion punctuated by industry and commercial sites, sometimes simultaneously with one on one side of the path and the other on the other. The trail for most of its length is a mix of urban and suburban areas with a lot of homes and businesses with direct access to the trail. In some cases, residents have even built their own bridges across small creeks to connect to the trail. There are quite a few bridges, and almost all of them, especially in the Dayton area, have a pretty good bump on approach from both ends. The trail also runs parallel to multiple highways at various times, including I-70, I-675, and US 35, so while you may appear to be in the woods, the sounds of heavy traffic are never far away. If you are enjoying this ride, please do me a solid and hit that thumbs up button, and consider subscribing to the channel for more rides like this. As noted by the trail name, this path runs along and crosses several streams, creeks, and a river. Beaver Creek Station is a bike hub along the Creekside Trail and is one of the bigger ones I've come across. The bathroom facilities are open year-round, there's a bike fix-it station just outside the building, and Beaver Creek Station is also home to Beaver Creek's 9/11 Memorial. There are numerous parks, some large and some tiny, all along the trail, along with benches at regular intervals when you're ready to take a break. This bridge across the Little Miami River has observation decks at both ends and is a beautiful place to stop and look around. I, of course, as you're seeing right now, rode right by. The urban-suburban nature of this trail does lend itself to a lot of traffic. If you watched my Cardinal Greenway video a couple weeks ago, you'll remember I passed only a handful of cyclists in 30-plus miles. On this ride, I probably passed over 100, along with runners, dog walkers, and just people out walking. It is a very busy trail.
Thanks. I gotta get around you just in time to stop.
In addition to all the riders, there are a ton of road crossings, some of which, like this one, are seemingly pretty lightly traveled, and others, as you'll see later, which are incredibly busy and can be quite difficult to get across. For the last couple of minutes, you may have heard what sounded like race cars, and that's because you did. Xenia's Kilcare Raceway was in full swing on this day, with the International Hot Rod Association having some sort of drag racing event. I could hear the cars for miles in either direction. And as you'll hear in a moment, up close, they got crazy loud. The facility is pretty huge and has a drag strip, a short oval. They host drifting and motorcycle events and more. It was really busy the day I drove by. I did reduce the mic input on that clip almost double what I did on all the others, and it was still pretty loud. Luckily for me, I like racing and drag racing, so I wasn't too bothered by it, but I'm sure a lot of people didn't appreciate all the racket.
On your left. How you going? Good.
This construction vehicle had the trail all but blocked, and with its proximity to me as I went past, probably was about as loud as those dragsters. Entering Xenia, there are more heavily trafficked roads, some of which do have a signal you can hit to try to get across. Both here and in Dayton, however, I found that it was pretty hit or miss whether vehicles actually bothered to stop. There are numerous restaurants and this brewery in this section of town if you're wanting to grab some food or drink. Xenia Station is an incredible facility. It's seen improvements as recently as 2016 to 2018 when a new splash pad and a playground was added at the east end of the park. There are picnic shelters at both ends, ample parking. It's a really, really beautiful facility and is open, of course, to the public. The park's signature landmark is a reconstructed replica of a former telegraph building which contains restrooms, a classroom, and a historic museum. Another landmark at the site is an authentically restored caboose which is available for guided tours. It's also the junction for 5 bike trails, including the Creekside Trail that I was riding, the Wright Brothers Huffman Prairie Parkway, part of the Ohio to Erie Trail, the Little Miami Scenic Trail, and the Xenia to Jamestown Connector.
Bike on the left.
I am riding again this year in the Great Cycle Challenge to raise money for the Children's Cancer Research Fund. I've pledged a minimum of 300 miles in September and to raise $1,000. At the time of this recording, I'm $75 short of that $1,000 mark, and if I get over that, I will bump my goal to 350 miles. If there's a way you could contribute, there is a QR code on the screen right now and a link in the video description below. If you can give, I appreciate it very much. This is one of those intersections where some vehicles stopped to let cyclists and walkers cross and others couldn't be bothered. There were several really busy crossings along this trail, as I mentioned earlier.
Bike on your left. Bike on your left. Bike on your left.
This was the best bit of graffiti I saw all day for those keeping score at home, and shortly after this, where the Creekside Trail meets the Iron Horse Trail, I made a wrong turn and did about 4.5 miles on the Iron Horse Trail that I did not intend to. It was, as you've seen, a glorious day, so I didn't really mind too much, but beware that that junction is not well marked from either direction. As you're heading towards Xenia, there is a sign there, but it has so much spray paint and graffiti on that it's almost completely illegible. So we're kind of reaching the end here. There are, to be fair, numerous connections to other trails and little spurs you could go down as well if you're just feeling like exploring all along this trail. The trail network in southwestern Ohio, and particularly around Dayton and Xenia, frankly, is a cyclist paradise. With my unplanned detour, this ride ended up being 35.35 miles for me. If you do it the right way, should be just a shade over 31 miles. There were just 666 feet of climbing in total. Most, if not all of it, was almost unnoticeable on the bike. It's a very, very shallow grade. With all the other cyclists and walkers and the myriad road crossings, this ride was a bit slower than normal for me, clocking in at 2 hours, 31 minutes, and 10 seconds, just a shade over 14 miles an hour. If you've enjoyed this video, please do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button. Consider subscribing for more rides, and until next time, thanks for watching, and let's ride.